I think
You
this
live
is
right now,
live.
right this second.
Nope, there it is live. It says live. Boom.
That's what's
We in
up.
this thing.
All right. Well, let's make it official. My name is Lennox Mercedes. I would like to welcome everyone to the Forever I Love Atlanta collaboration for the culture panel session, virtual, etc., etc. I
Ow!
am the project manager for Atlanta Influences Everything, and I am also the founder of High Gravity Hip Hop. So, alongside me today is my man Christian, who is a founder and host of the Atlanta podcast. Christian, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on here.
Awesome, man. What a fantastic platform that Miss Jen Price and the Atlanta Beer Boutique has put together with this Crafted for Action conference. We salute her and we salute the city of Atlanta. We salute the Black craft beer community in Atlanta. And coming to the stage, my man Sean O'Keefe, Pontoon Brewing. Sean, what you got there, man?
I got an IPA or whatever. That is legitimately the name.
I was like, damn, okay.
The ongoing joke is like, there's just so many IPAs out there. It's like, I'm just gonna get the IPA or whatever. And
so. All right, that's what's up, man.
Cracking open beers.
Do it. I've got some water with ACV right now,
Ooh.
But I can assure you, I am traveling on the astral plane, as it were, if you will. So I'm right there with y'all. So yeah, man. So we've got a kind of a loose agenda. We're gonna hang out. I just hit Bame. Hopefully he'll get back with us. But okay. I said yo, and he said yo back. So hopefully we'll get him to
where are you at?
Or whatnot. So I'm sure he's probably jumping in and out of calls right now. So and that actually is a good segue into kind of opening up the conversation around this project called the 404 Pack. And one of the main catalysts for that has been the success of Atlanta Influences Everything, and that brand and movement that started about 5 years ago and has grown significantly. We've seen the mayor sporting the shirt, and proclaiming the words on national television. So many celebrities have supported the brand. So it was an amazing opportunity to kind of get all of this happening. It's like the right time. So I always like to let the story be the story, right? So the way I heard how it started was through an appearance that Bame and Tori from Atlanta Influences Everything did with you, Christian, and you guys over at the Atlanta podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the podcast, for those that don't know, the Atlanta podcast is just a podcast with three guys who were raised by Atlanta culture to become men. And we decided to get together to make sure we pay homage, give back to the city that gave us so much, while also drinking beer and talking shit. Can I curse on here? That's probably a no, right?
I'm going to say that you can, but do you
do you want
we
me?
are on national coverage coming live.
Yes.
Oh, we got the green light. The producers have said cuss away.
All right.
Welcome to fucking Atlanta. Let's go, baby.
The light? I don't know.
Hold on. Let me get my Pontoon light together. Let me get my TI lean.
Gotcha.
Let it rip.
No,
they said it's cool. They said we could smoke in here. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but throughout our journey, we've just talked about Atlanta extensively, and we've been able to have a lot of guests on Atlanta and do collaborations that a lot of podcasts don't get the opportunity to do. On our 100th episode, we had Tori and Bame of Atlanta Influences Everything on our podcast. And of course, we're talking a lot about Atlanta culture, a lot about how Atlanta is treated in a sense where the culture is constantly borrowed, if you will, but never given its proper respects. I mean, recently things are changing for the better, but that was kind of the conversation. And this happened to be right when we were doing the plot plan beer, our first beer of Brewing Conversations with Pontoon.
You know what? Yeah, let's get into that beer real quick since we got a little bit of time. You know, we got a little bit of hangout time. So
got a little bit.
Yeah, we got a little hangout time. So let's talk about that, man. So obviously, famously, you know, Killer Mike, you know, Mr. Render was making an appearance, you know, during some of the turmoil, if I recall correctly, and he was called upon by the city to say some words. So it was extremely impactful, number one, to have a rap artist literally called by the, you know, city officials to please get on the microphone and speak to the people out there.
They said we need to kill him.
Right. So he famously said that, you know, now's the time to plot, plan, strategize. Wait, there's one in between.
PPSO, plot, plan, strategize, organize, mobilize.
That's what it organized.
Right. Mm-hmm. That was the one I missed. So yeah, so you guys were like, you know what? Let's make that a beer. How did that happen?
I mean,
Sean, you want to take this? Because this is where you and Myron started.
Yeah.
Okay. This is kind of the beginning of Brewing Conversations, really.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Boom.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, my wife and I were watching all the news coverage when the protests down in Atlanta, as well as a lot of other, you know, cities throughout the United States. And, you know, it's going to be a moment that I'll remember for the rest of my life because it was so unique to have someone like Killer Mike come out there and, you know, somebody that the people love as this kind of like, you know, use his platform to really get into people's heads and their hearts. What I loved about it was he didn't just tell people like, hey, calm down. You know, he started off a little bit like, hey, come on, let's whatever. But then it was like he took a turn and he just like he got real and was just like really passionate and emotional. But
I feel like he kind of went off script a little bit because, you know, in those things, you know, they're pulling you to the side like, bro, don't say like try to say this.
Yeah.
Don't say that. Like, you know, they're coaching you before.
He ripped off the Band-Aid. He ripped off the Band-Aid.
It looked like because you could tell his emotion kind of came up.
And it was like you said, it was raw, it was real. And what was cool is Mary Longbottoms, man, she was right there. And you could see it in her face, like she wasn't stopping it. She like you could just see that like she was
like you saying stuff that I can't say. Like I can't say that, but I can let you say that.
It felt that way because like it felt real. And that's the thing is like it could have so easily come off as scripted or as like, you know, virtue signaling or kind of whatever, like, hey, y'all calm down. Here's a guy that you guys like. Listen to him. You don't listen to us. It didn't come off that way. And so, you know, and this is kind of a raw topic to talk about as a white male, you know, to come to talk about it. But, you know, I reached out to Myron, who I was friends with at the time. And we go to all sorts of craft beer things. And
real quick, Myron, for listeners who don't know, Myron is another host and co-founder of the Atlanta podcast, who him and Sean know each other pretty well and have a personal relationship, friendship.
Those beer communities.
Yep.
Yes.
Just, you know, craft community, bottle shares. He's been supporting Pontoon since day one. Love that family. And so, you know, I reached out to him because you know, I can't put myself in, you know, people of color's shoes. I never will be able
Myron to. Is black also, by the way.
Yes.
That's a good point. That's a good thing to add. Yes.
Yeah. So I reached out to him and, you know, as a business owner, you know, it really was like eye-opening and kind of a scary thing is like, you know, if my business was downtown and there was bricks getting thrown through all the things that, you know, they're sensationalizing on the news, I was like, you know, how is this okay? And Myron is my friend. So it was the way I was asking, and he explained this to me. It wasn't like it was his job to tell me, but I was legitimately just wondering and wanting to know. And he hit me with the truth. And it was like, what else do we do? What else do we do? We've been, look at Cap, he was kneeling and got chastised for that. Look at all these examples of peaceful protests where, it got negative attention. It's like, at what point what else do you do? And he asked me that open-ended question and I couldn't answer. And, it was like, well, shit, what do we do? Let's do something. Let's take this terrible moment in time and like make something positive of it. And how can we really create change in our own communities? And so we started talking. Myron introduced me to the rest of the Atlanta podcast. And we were like, we got to start it off strong. And what resonated with being strong, and I think it was Myron's idea, was like, look, Killer Mike's his message, the plot plan, like that was like, that will forever like be imprinted in time as like a moment of culture for Atlanta. Why not start with that? Because this is a call to action. Brewing Conversations was. So that's really how it kind of started. And then Myron and Christian, the whole crew. I mean, all of us, kind of sat down. We're like, what says Atlanta? And so that's where we came with like the peaches and lemonade. Threw some peach rings in there. It came out to be a really killer beer. Awesome artwork. You guys, boy, yeah, Frico absolutely crushed it. Looked really cool. Looked like a kind of like a Schoolhouse Rock kind of vibe.
Yeah.
There's definitely some lessons we all need to be learning right now. So, the Schoolhouse Rock vibe kind of like fit. So yeah, man, that was how it started and where it became. But, it was a moment in time where, there was a lot of questions going on. And I felt like this was really helpful for me personally, but also for other people like me, other white people that need to be able to like get an insight of what you guys live on a day-to-day basis. That's kind of what Brewing Conversations is about. And so it really like helps set the table of what hearing these voices and hearing their stories, good and bad, of where they came from and where they are now. So
that's fantastic.
Most importantly, a portion of the proceeds of that beer, they all went to a really good cause. For that one, we did the Racial Justice Action Center. And leading up to Plot Plan's release, Pontoon was so gracious as to they had one of their bigger beers, Peach City, release, and they said let's add that to the mix as like a warm up to everything. And a portion of the proceeds of that went to the Atlanta chapter of the NAACP.
Yep.
Okay. Fantastic. So you guys decided to take that kind of chaotic energy and create something and kind of get to work on some solutions, some solution oriented type of stuff. That's amazing, man. Because it was such a critical moment. And we've had a few, and being Atlanta, a lot of people in the craft beer community come from an HBCU background. Obviously, the world knows Atlanta's history with the civil rights movement. So it's never far from the main conversation. And it's ironic because sometimes I'll speak to maybe some affluent white people, and it's like they don't think about racial issues on a day-to-day basis. But every day, people of color wake up and are kind of like checking the temperature of what the white community is doing. Is the white community angered about something? Did Alabama lose? And there is now a little bit of, vandalism.
Yeah, Alabama out under the bus. But I mean,
it's wrong though.
Not wrong.
So it's important to be able to have these conversations, because I think that it gets too easy to just say certain things. And this is the old school in me, it gets too easy to just say things on the internet because there's zero repercussions of someone laying hands on you immediately as you say some dumb stuff or something disrespectful. There was consequences. Even when you were kids, you can just there's freedom of speech, and then there's you got to deal with the consequences that kind of come with that. But I don't want to get too sidetracked on that. But it is important to emphasize that was the foundation of the Brewing Conversations program. So you guys are wanting to develop that and grow that into a larger platform where breweries and the communities that surround them can engage and create these conversations. And because that's really what it takes. It takes just hanging out with somebody. It takes having a beer and listening to some classic hip hop and just kind of chilling out. And you can solve anything with that in mind, I believe.
Absolutely.
So, all right. So, okay. So, Ben's not going to be able to make it on the call.
I got my Atlanta Influences Everything hat on now.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
I was going to ask.
The black on black, like, it's slick looking.
It is.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. It's a great brand. There's some fantastic quality merch. I actually kind of want to show off the underside of this lid. This is a snapback trucker. But this is like a luxury type of snapback trucker because it's got this beautiful mural that I believe is the actual mural in the brewery.
Correct.
Right? This is the actual mural that's live.
Man, he did a great job, and those are such cool hats. I love it. Mine's like so dirty now. I need to get like a new one. It's like gray underneath and like faded, and yeah.
Right. You can tell this has been literally like the first time I've even like
that's fresh.
Crispy. So yeah, I almost don't even want to touch it. It's just such a great piece of merch. It's very well made. So talk to me about the otters. These are otters, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was confusing with beavers. I don't want to disrespect the beaver community.
No, that's okay.
They will come for you.
Big teeth kind of animals anyway. Otters have been part of our branding for quite some time.
Okay.
My favorite animals. They just like don't take anything seriously. Like they play with their food. They're like they're like the animal version of a pontoon boat because they just like don't care. And I'm like, that's us.
So pontoon boats are saltwater as well.
Yeah, they've got some saltwater ones.
I've only seen them on lakes, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have some in Georgia. There's otters in Georgia, especially you go down to like kind of like central Georgia. We were like doing like a kayaking thing, and they were there. They're super aggressive, like they're super territorial. So they'll bark at you, which is really hilarious.
They bark?
It's like a chirp. It's like a bark. It's really funny. Okay. That's where it was. They were there. It was super cool.
I love the otter. I think it's a great touch. It adds a fun, a mascot kind of vibe to it. So definitely cool. So, Kristen, let's talk about the Atlanta podcast a little bit more. So, Bame is not going to be able to make it onto the call, and that is that's a scheduling situation that is a recent change. This has been on the calendar for a while, as we all know. But Bame Joyner, who is the founder of Atlanta Influences Everything, is practically the unofficial mayor of Atlanta. He is one of the most beloved personalities in the city. Just so much social currency out there, so many different verticals, all the verticals, all the horizontals, all the like wherever there's action and culture and community and corporate activity, he kind of has found a way to be in the mix. So he literally coined the term Atlanta Influences Everything and kind of said it enough that it became a thing and it kind of stuck, primarily due to the influence of Atlanta on the music industry and, the becoming the headquarters for the last, who knows how many years, arguably some people will argue as far as into the 90s, in terms of Atlanta's presence. Which is is there. You know what I'm saying? So Bayman's kind of a music guy, and there's a lot of love and from the community for him, Tori Edwards and Ian Ford, who are the three founders. So when these guys came on the podcast, I heard y'all got drunk. Surprise!
I mean, that's kind of how it works. It's kind of how we do. We liquor you up a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that episode a little bit and maybe what it was like having those guys on and what it meant for our show?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we had always wanted them to come on the podcast, but the schedules never really work. But it's funny because it's like things seem to always be late, but when the stars align, it's always on time. So we're sitting there, talking to them, hearing their origin story. If anybody wants to hear it, episode 100 of the Atlanta podcast, which we didn't even plan. It's just, I just counted up the episodes like, oh, shoot. This is episode 100. AIE is on here. Perfect. So,
nice. Congratulations. How many episodes y'all at now? How many episodes you guys got right now?
COVID has made us a little slow. We're like at 120 right now. But that was done and that episode was done in December. And we've been having like a lot of not events, but a lot of collaborations come up. So right now we're gearing up for an event. But on that episode, of course, we're talking to Bayman Tori about what AIE is, how it got started, all of that information, how it kind of started with Nike in a sense. But in that whole conversation, of course, we're drinking beer and we're introducing them to craft beer. And at the hour and 24th minute mark, we are enjoying a Pontoon beer, Soul Crusher. And we mention, they are the ones who are doing our beer. And there's this little light in Tori's eye that I've seen. I've seen it once in my wife's eye. That's when I proposed to her. I haven't seen it since. She made a terrible decision. But something clicked and it made sense to just extend that olive branch. Was like, hey, somebody needs to do an AIE beer. And with Pontoon in his hand, it makes sense. And the reason why is because anybody who knows Atlanta culture, not know Atlanta, but know Atlanta's culture, knows AIE. It's not about like Forever Atlanta or We Love Atlanta. Like, that's cute, but Atlanta influences everything, holds a certain culture that anybody that is Atlanta culture knows. It's very similar to Pontoon with craft beer in Georgia. There are people who craft beer, and then there are people who live and breathe craft beer in Georgia. And those craft beer heads know Pontoon. And it's kind of like they're the same of both worlds. And it makes so much sense that we are the connection between the two, because we are big into craft beer and we are big in Atlanta culture. It just makes so much sense for the two to connect, to talk, to make something. So we're just like, we don't care how it happens. We just need it to happen.
That's what's up.
And I mean, that was it from there.
Okay, so I encourage anybody who wants to get to know Atlanta culture to definitely check out the Atlanta podcast. And yeah, Atlanta Influences Everything has become kind of iconic, and we do spend a lot of time giving them their flowers and recognizing them. Some of the things, for people who may not know, it's the weekly community give backs for me, as we're saying now. You know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
They're killing that, Yeah.
So,
and we're gonna do that all day. And if anybody has an interest in Atlanta Influences Everything, please just Google briefly and you'll see just an onslaught of amazing work.
Go to their pop-up shop. They have one in Atlantic Station right now.
That's right, Atlantic Station. Come on through. But I don't want to understate either. Let me get on my
There we
stuff.
go.
Pontoon, gold medal winning Pontoon Brewing. Okay, multiple gold medalists. I know that, you know, we're trending on humility.
Collaboration.
Say it again.
Including our Black is Beautiful collaboration with the Atlanta podcast and Weathered Souls and the ATL Beer Gang. It was rated the best version of Black is Beautiful at the U.S. Open this year, which we're really excited about. Yeah,
the best Black is Beautiful, the best iteration. Now, mind you, and correct me if I'm wrong, Black is Beautiful was done like 1,200 times or something.
Yeah, it was a huge movement. Marcus from Weathered Souls reached out to me personally after that. It was like wanted to congratulate me. We're going to do a collaboration with them. They're coming to Brownie Bash. So that was
nice
huge for us. I'm a huge fan of their beers. Fantastic. A wonderful recipe. Seriously, we stuck to it really well. Of course, we did our own little tweaks to it. We did a longer boil, but it was his recipe, and they crushed it, and we just threw our flair into it and worked with some really good people. But that was a big one. That was a fun one.
Man, I've had go ahead.
With that beer, we also raised over $5,000 for a song. And for those that don't know what song is, it's Southerners on New Ground. And it is an LGBTQ plus organization that organizes racial and economic justice in the South. So with that, we noticed a lot of the Black is Beautiful beers highlighted Black males, and we wanted to make sure we included all Black lives because all Black lives matter.
Amen. Okay. So, man, that's amazing. And those guys, definitely big shout out to Marcus Baskerville and his brother and the whole gang out there in San Antonio, if I'm not mistaken, Texas. Weathered Souls, man, huge program. I mean, they killed that so much. I think they ended up in Walmart and stuff. They're like everywhere. So yeah,
with Monday night here in Georgia, we didn't have the capacity to do what the amount that they wanted to do, which that's always a good problem to have. So they partnered with Monday night. I love Monday night. They're great people.
Shout out to Monday night.
Genius. And so they partnered with Monday night, and they put Black is Beautiful in the Walmart here in Georgia, but they also did it a bunch of other places around the country. So love seeing that.
Nice. So let's brag on Pontoon a little more. Let's talk about the last set of medals y'all brought home. Let's talk about that because, I know you guys try to be humble and, the hardware, all right, it's no big deal. But in my community, we love shiny gold level of success. Froze went out real quick, but I think they're back.
It was Sub-Zero. It's okay.
All right.
You're back.
We're good.
No, you're not wrong, man. It was
you gotta celebrate it, man. Just like I tell you, Sean, to get your rest, you gotta celebrate the wins. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I just real quick that I enjoy doing because people did that for me growing up. You need it because everybody wants you to be humble. So that means you need someone to champion you.
I love it.
Someone else to kind of be the champion, the voice. And someone taught me that. And they championed me to other people. It's like if I talk, don't talk yourself up, let me talk you up kind of thing. So I'm always like excited to talk people up, almost, to the point where they're like, chill out, bro. Like, bring it back. Right, like bring it back a little bit. It's a little too much. But no, I really want to emphasize kind of the success you guys have had in a very short amount of time. So can we please discuss that? And are you guys taking performance enhancing drugs? What is going on at Pontoon? How are you getting all these medals?
It's in the
How are you getting all these medals?
I can neither confirm or deny that latter statement. The Smiggles, all our culture brewing, who just said Smiggles and the multiple iterations, mic drops, walks away. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. That beer, my goodness, we get calls about that beer all day long. The whole time, like a month before and after Smiggles, 90% of our phone calls are about that beer, which is great. You know, I'm glad that people are so passionate about a beer that we made for fun, and it ended up being pretty good.
Speaking of fun, real quick, the picture of you with the copious amounts of, I believe it could have been chocolate syrup, and
Oh my
I
God.
believe it was
Oh
rock.
yeah.
I believe y'all called it rock candy cereal for
Yeah, it was,
copyright infringement purposes.
yeah. We did a prop bet with our good buddies up at Listerman up in Ohio. Cincinnati was playing Georgia for the bowl game, and so the winner got to douse the loser in whatever adjuncts we were putting in this big stout. Well, I was a dummy, and their GM was like, "You're going to take the line, though, right? Come on, you can take the line." Well, I took the line, and we both lost, so we both got down, which was more fun that way anyway. It was.
I thought you won and decided to take the quote punishment.
Oh yeah.
Too, anyway, but you actually lost. Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys both got it.
Georgia beat Cincinnati, so and so we technically won, but I was dumb and took the line, and so we both got doused.
So you bet against Georgia.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
We're lucky Bame is not on the show right now because that we will have words.
Georgia beat the line. I picked Georgia to take the line and beat the crap out of Cincinnati.
Oh,
it was way too close to that game.
Okay.
Yeah,
right,
I'm a Gator, so I'm a Gator. So I mean, it was like, you know, but I always root for the hometown. I always root for the hometown. Root for the Braves. Root for the Hawks. Root for the Falcons. Root for the for Atlanta United. You know, thank goodness we don't have a hockey team here because I'm going to be a Preds fan till the day I die. But yeah, it was fun. And we had marshmallow, peanut butter, Hershey syrup, and coffee. The coffee was worse. It was like pepper spray. Like when they did like the coffee, it like got in my eyes and my nose and my mouth. I tell you what though, I smelled fantastic for the rest of the day. We got hosed off, didn't go anywhere. I smelled like a confectionery treat for the rest of the day. It was.
Let me tell you something, Sean, from the bottom of my heart, this is what we're talking about when we say that's some white boy shit. Y'all, you douse you, and you're like.
Big
Bunny, and
yeah, absolutely.
You dive right into it, man. I love it, man.
Cover me or something.
The commitment, bro, is the commitment, and that's one of the things I love about you. And you know, I'm happy that I've gotten a chance to get to know, you know, everybody involved in the project. And one of the things that I always point out is your, you know, your sportsmanship. You know what I'm saying? You're just who you are as a person. So I want to start getting into me with no agenda, but I'm living and breathing this project, you know what I'm saying, 24/7. So I want to start talking about the 404 pack. So for those that have been following along, you know, AIE went on the Atlanta podcast, and, you know, the notion of a Pontoon collaboration was kind of, you know, the seed was planted. And a conversation kind of started from there. And I like to tell this part of it. So I'm good friends with Bame Joyner, and I was just hanging out with Bame, and he told me about, you know, we're just hanging out, we're just catching up. It's like, hey, yeah, we went on the podcast, and there's like a potential collaboration kind of in the mix for us to do a beer. And when he said like to do a beer, it kind of triggered all these things in my head and all these ideas about what that would and should look like for a brand like Atlanta Influences Everything. You know what I mean? The first thing that I love about it is that Pontoon is an award-winning brewery that, you know what I'm saying, just continues to just rock continuously.
Crush
like
it.
Everything. Yeah, you know what I mean? Just everything they put out is amazing. So, but my question, of course, was like, well, where is the community in this? Where are the Black-owned breweries? Where is, you know, and the reality is, and this is part of the conversation we had on Recipe Development Day, is that the Black-owned breweries weren't there yet in Atlanta to host a collaboration like that. So it was like, all right, this is where the opportunity is. These are the people who are willing to have that conversation, which is a huge thing as we talk about diversity and the reason for this conference and everything. there's got to be a willingness, you know, and I just seek out the people who are willing, you know, because if you're not feeling me, fine, it costs you nothing, pay me no mind. You know, we don't need the people who don't, you know, we just looking for those who are willing to participate and come to the table. So I met Sean, we were hanging out. It was the day of the Ale had did a soft piano keys release, and then I had met a couple of the Pontoon guys there, and then I decided to go up to Pontoon because it was actually the day of, I think it was Phillips Barbecue and the Brewing Conversations for them.
Tall, dark, and smoky.
That's the day.
Fantastic beer.
Oh man, what an amazing night, man!
Fantastic barbecue.
No,
killer.
I will say right now on live for everyone to hear me, so that this is no bullshit. Best barbecue I've ever had in my entire life, and I have a family that is in their barbecue judges in Memphis. If you haven't had Phillips Barbecue, like Phillips Barbecue, he was on the Netflix show, the American Barbecue Showdown. Y'all need to try his barbecue. It's a game changer. Game changer.
I'm a fan of the hometown heroes at Fox Brothers, and I'm not gonna lie, he's killing them. He's killing them.
Ooh.
So he brings his background, and so he infuses, like, you know, the Caribbean, like fun, like notes, like spices and stuff. But it's not like it's not like a shtick. It's just he's influencing it a little bit. And
he's got jerk barbecue. Who has jerk barbecue?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The dude is like just absolutely amazing, and he's also like the most humble person on the planet too. You know, you can't pay him to give him a compliment.
Really nice guy, Jamaican heritage, just a fantastic gentleman. Bright future ahead of him. Keep an eye on him. Phillips Barbecue, and I think it's Rashad Phillips.
Yeah, Rashid Phillips.
Rashid Phillips, man. Shout out to you, man. Fantastic brother. Continued success. So the conversation led into because I'm trying to keep an eye on time. We've got about another 25 minutes, so we're good. I just don't want to, you know, go off on a tangent here, and you know what I mean?
You will not go 25 minutes tangent. I will be impressed.
Bro. Go to the store and come back. So that day that Phillips Barbecue dropped their project, Brewing Conversations, it was an amazing event. It was fantastic. I got to talk to almost everybody individually, together. It was really cool. So one of the things that how the project kind of swelled to where it is, you know, we're standing in front of the doors of Pontoon with Sean, and I told him about my conversation with Bane and, like, you know, where are the black breweries in this? And Sean was like, well,
this is dramatic. Is it me that's frozen?
No, I was just messing with you.
Okay.
Bring us up to that.
No,
what just happened? I do some loud stuff.
And then I continued to freeze to mess with Christian. So
wait, what?
You froze, and then I pretended to freeze to mess with Christian. So
oh, okay. Everything went like I got the loading symbols. All the images went out. So so where did I freeze out?
Yeah, we were you were talking about, you know, us talking about, you know, how we bring, you know, these black owned breweries into the fold, which, you know, that's 90% of the goal of Brewing Conversations is, you know, hopefully we get people in the community that go, well, I can do that. You know, it's not just all white male. It's something that I can do now because I'm seeing other people. There's other examples of that. And so, like, when you brought the idea of, like, let's do some collaborations and I love collaborations. That's my favorite part of brewing. So when you mentioned that, I was like, let's effing go. Like, let's do this.
And that was the response. I remember you were just so enthusiastic. about that, and that's what we did. Because in my mind, Atlanta Influences Everything should be a 4-pack, 4 different styles. Now the Black-owned breweries are involved, and the 4-pack is going to be off to a great start. We've got some amazing artists involved: Tukey Carter, Debbie Snacks, Zipporah Joel, and George F. Baker III.
Y'all got George F. Baker III in this?
GFB3 is on the anchor leg. Yes, so he's paired up with Atlantucky. We've got Conso Brewing, and we've got Down Home Brewing, Georgia's first Black-owned brewery. Conso was the second Black-owned brewery, and Atlantucky was the third. Shout out to Hip and Hops for becoming one of the first. I hesitate to offer them the first Black-owned brewery simply because they would technically the first Black and mortar, and there's been other breweries that have been in the market for a while without a brick and mortar. Yeah, but they're
Black and mortar?
I like that.
Black and mortar.
I'm gonna go with that.
I like that.
I'm gonna go with that as a tag team.
Yeah, that's you need to run with that.
Trademark that right away. Man,
real quick, we got a question real quick, and I wanted to answer it just so I don't forget because I have a brain of yeah. Someone said, "Who creates the recipes?" They're always so out there. We got
Atlanta Beer Boutique. Shout out to them. That is Jen Price, the host of Crafted for Action. Thanks so much, Jen, for that question. All right, Sean, tell us how do you guys do it?
Please don't tell me you have like a black guy in the back just cranking it out and not getting the credit.
I mean,
Uncle Nearest.
We try to keep it open source for our whole company. We have a recipe development meeting on Tuesdays and a beer planning meeting on Wednesdays, and so we'll come up with like the crazy ideas. It used to be a lot of me, but we wanted to open up and have. So Smiggles was actually an idea that came together with myself and a bottle shop owner named Bridge Patel in Sprayberry out in Marietta. And we were like, how ridiculous would it be to put Skittles and Tricks in a beer? We also talked about glitter, but it was just way too expensive. And we're like, nah, I think Tricks and Skittles, that's the way to go. And then it's blown up. But yeah, we've
come the line at the glitter.
Yeah, that was, although we're about to do a peanut butter and jam sour with glitter and custard and peanut butter and marshmallow in it. It's ridiculous. It's going to be good. It's going to be tasty.
Look, you be rattling off stuff, and I'm just like, okay, I know it's going to be good. I almost don't want to know. But I know
who thinks glitter? Like, what does glitter taste like?
Oh, it doesn't taste like anything. It just makes the bathroom experience more fun the next day. So
I was gonna say, if you got kids,
wait a minute,
and you ever see Trolls, you guys got glitter? Kids. You seen Trolls?
But
you guys see Trolls, right?
Oh,
There's one of the Trolls who's a glitter, and he farts freaking glitter bombs, like he just shoots glitter. But he can sing. He's auto-tuned. It's the little auto troll.
I just wanted to answer that question because I saw that and I was like, people always ask that question.
Y'all should do a tomato beer though.
No, Shannon is all about that tomato beer. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. We're gonna do a Bloody Mary beer. It's gonna happen. Probably we'll have some pickle juice in it too. Go lean all into it. She's gonna lose her mind.
Brunch beer.
Yes.
Have somebody serving up breakfast out there.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. But yeah, going back to your 4-pack thing, I think we're super excited about that. I think it's gonna be really cool. We're gonna release each one of these beers individually, leading up to that event, and then in November around the holidays, we're gonna release that November, December. I forget which one it is.
November. November. The stout, the last beer will drop with the 4-pack,
and then we're gonna do that 4-pack, right? And so, I'm excited about it because, the idea is we want Atlanta influences everything, right? So we want, what is Atlanta, the Black culture in Atlanta, giving them the opportunity to get their beer out in the market. Because it's really hard to open up a brick and mortar. It took us 2 years to do it. I didn't have any money. And so it's especially hard when you're a person of color and it's harder to get loans. It's harder to, that's an uphill battle. And so that's, part of why I'm so happy that AIE and Brewing Conversations is coming together, because once again, we're trying to give people a platform to say, like, this is how I did it. This is how I am making my legacy within this community. And so that 4-pack, I think it's going to be killer. We got that lemon pepper wing sour coming up soon. Which
lemon pepper wet is going to
make sure that thing is wet.
Oh,
man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got that.
For those of you that are anywhere within 500 miles of Atlanta, on May 22nd, 2 Saturdays from now, we're going to be dropping this beer at Pontoon. We're going to have a DJ. We've got, listen to this. This is news. We've got so lemon pepper wet, the beer, and then we want to have some wings, right? So last time when we did recipe development day, I brought Taco Mac up. So, but this time around, we're gonna have a little wing battle, and some of the wing places were very, very interested in bringing their lemon pepper wet to the table. So I'm happy to announce that we're gonna feature Magic City Lemon Pepper Lou Wet Wings versus the Wing Bar. The Wing Bar is bringing their vegan wings to put up against Magic City. So the vegans are coming. The vegans are coming heavy because beer is vegan. Magic City versus the Wing Bar. Welcome to Atlanta. Pontoon Brewing, DJ Nick the Quick, my house DJ for 10 years. This has been my guy. He's gonna come shut it down. He's an Atlanta native. He went to Morehouse. He's got older brothers, so he was taught properly the musical journeys of the 90s characters. So yeah, it's happening. Yeah, Brooke, it's happening. Brooke is now in the
Magic City Wing Bar.
Wow. Are we gonna do a wing eating contest?
Yeah, come on through. It's not a wing eating contest. We're gonna put the wings up against each other. So everyone's gonna get.
Sure you don't want a wing eating contest?
I mean, I'm down with happily. I do hold the record at the University of Florida.
We want to do a big wing festival. So this is a preview. We want to have an actual big lemon pepper wet competition. Like, who got the wet for real? I want everybody. JR Cricket, like an 8. Like, we'll do like a It's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. They don't want me to talk about it. I see like my screen is like fuzzy. So as everyone knows, a lemon pepper wet beer did drop in the market, and we're not even going to speak on it because it came and went. Don't go on Untapped. Whatever you do, do not go on Untapped and look up a lemon pepper wet beer, because your feelings will be hurt at the way this beer got bodied on Untapped. So we'll leave that alone.
No.
You want to see a dead body? Go on Untapped and look up a lemon pepper wet and see what happens.
A goza, a sour. It makes more sense for a lemon pepper wet, right? You get the saltiness. You get the lemon flavor. You get the peppercorns that come in. It leans harder for that. We've been talking about this for, since. Were we talking about this in 2020?
This is like the end of 2020, like November, like October, November. So this has been one of the most thought out.
We wanted to do it right. We wanted to plan out the whole program too. Right? It's not just about the one beer. Just like Brewing Conversations isn't about a one-time thing. We want this to be spread out, generate some excitement. And so, we want to do it right. So, no regrets, as the internet meme goes.
Yes, no regrets. Yeah. Favorite tattoo. I got one. It's right.
Not just one letter, not even one letter.
Right. No, and yeah. So, and just to quickly touch on some of the larger aspects, because that was part of what it was for me. It was like, all right, we want to make this a larger program. So let's leverage this collaboration with Pontoon and turn it into a larger fundraiser for the Careers of Tomorrow program, which is the program that will be benefiting for that AIE operates. So it's going to be lemon pepper wet. We've got console. We got Down Home Brewing coming in.
Freaknik 95.
Yep, we got console brewing coming with the Freaknik 95 IPA.
Freaknik 90. There's going to be a beer titled Freaknik 95
with people who were at Freaknik 95. The console guys were at. You think I'm joking? The console guys were at Freakniks from 83. Kevin got up and told the story about how he was like at the Freaknik origin, like the founders. You know, it was like the DC club at Morehouse and another club, and they started like a little party in a park and watched it was like a fraternity. You know what I mean? It was a whole origin story, and you know what I mean. Console
what flavors does Freaknik 95 bring to an IPA? I really want to know.
All I know is console brewing.
What are we going to do with this IPA? Good question. I'm looking forward to having that conversation.
This is gonna be awesome. This is gonna be
awesome. We want to do it right.
All I know is console.
So I need to be filled in on this story.
Oh, you're gonna start seeing some of the videos. So some of the recaps are gonna start coming out next week when we start promo. You know,
make sure the PR person is not there.
Freaknik 95. The campaign for that is gonna be amazing because we're gonna have a big nostalgia campaign on social media. We'll have people who were there bring out their old pictures that have never been scanned in and stuff like that, and kind of do like old school, old school pictures, and really connect generationally and have the younger generation do like a challenge where they recreate the fashions and some of the pictures from, that era. Freaknik 95 was like the last good one right before the Olympics, and where Atlanta really changed as a city after that, as we all know. So yeah. And then the final beer is going to be Nappy Roots Atlantucky with the Own Your Masters. Huh?
The Down Home Lager too.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Down Home Brewing is going to be doing the lager. Get you a LLC, Leave a Legacy Crew, and that's amazing. With reviewing the label for that now. You guys have that, Sean. Take a look. Debbie Snacks just put her hands like, oh man, it's amazing. She sent us the first kind of iteration. It's not colored in, it's like a sketch. Oh man, it's gorgeous. So we're looking forward to seeing this artwork and on the cans and the project fully rolling out. So the holiday gift set is going to be this series of collaborations that Atlanta Influences Everything is doing. We're doing craft beer here in Georgia. We're going to work to get to at least 10 states. Now that cannabis is becoming legal in so many states, I'm responsible for craft beer, cannabis, and CBD collaborations for AIE. So God willing, and y'all who are listening in, if you're in a cannabis legal state, I want to do a craft beer in your state and drop it at the same time as the last beer to drop in our 4-pack in November, to really have like a big kind of holiday season push into the fundraiser and kind of really kick off the fundraiser. So this is going to snowball into that. So for everybody listening out there, if you know a brewery that wants to participate, or you think you got to play on seeing this come to fruition in your home state, I'm looking at Michigan, Illinois, New York, New Jersey just came online for cannabis. So very exciting time to be involved with this. I don't encourage the use of both at the same time, but I kind of want to have them individually. I mean, I do, but not like to the public in general. Like, you got to be an expert, like know what you're doing. You know what I mean? For real. So Kristen, you wanted to add something?
I'm a light when it comes to that. So
I have a question. So
yeah.
The 4 beers that are for this 4-pack, are they coming out separately and then like in November teaming up like Avengers style?
Exactly.
Oh,
that's exactly. Yeah. So lemon pepper wet, May 22nd. If you're anywhere within 5,000 miles of Atlanta, May 22nd, you're invited. All right. And we're dropping lemon pepper wet with Magic City versus the Wing Bar with DJ Nick the Quig. It's just going to be a great time. We've got the Down Home Lager collaboration coming in, I want to say July. Then we've got September for Conso, and then November for the 4-pack, the mixed 4-pack. So we're going to be rocking and rolling. Yeah. So we're going to be rocking and rolling for the rest of the year. And then I want to do like a capstone event, maybe a beer and wing festival towards the end of the year around the holiday season. Magic City the Magic City kitchen is 1,000% all in. They have been wanting to see like a wing festival come to fruition. They're seeing what's going on. They know that they've gotten a resurgence, not even a resurgence. They've always been popular, but they've gotten an extra boost from all of the conversation that went on around the show Atlanta and the whole lemon pepper Lou. You know what I mean? All of that stuff has catapulted them even further. And they're wanting to do real work. They want to benefit the women's shelters. They want to do stuff in the community.
Y'all got Magic City pulling up to Pontoon.
I'm so excited.
It's gonna be so awesome. It's gonna be so great.
They are the sponsor for the event. Say it again.
I said I have an unhealthy obsession with wings, specifically lemon pepper.
We'll have a little box set aside for you. A little personal.
Can you bring me a little thing of Tums too? I'm not gonna do that.
If you get your wife's permission, we'll let one of the girls gyrate on you and help you with your digestive.
No. My wife is downstairs. Yes. Cut it out. I'm a faithful black male, okay?
We're dealing with Magic City, the organization. There's not going to be girls. There's not going to be dancing. There's not going to be none of that. You know what I mean? It's strictly with Magic City, the kitchen, the organization, and everything. We may do some stuff with them at their location, but we're not necessarily looking at that angle for it. We may do some adult kind of hangout stuff, you know what I'm saying, just because later on as a one-time thing. But the focus is they want to become partners with Atlanta Influences Everything because of the community work that happens. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, we're kind of reaching, our last 5 minutes. Shannon is banging you on the comments. She says staring off into wing space.
I'm actually hungry right now. And I'm like thinking about all these wings.
What
am I eating for dinner tonight?
Right. Do you guys have any closing words? You know what I mean? Anything you want to share with the people?
Any questions out for the community too?
Any questions out there? Let's take the last few minutes. Yeah, maybe let's do that. Anybody who has some questions in the comments, please go ahead.
I think there was.
All right. Okay, so yeah, no, we're super excited. Obviously, Pontoon, you guys have been doing amazing work. Such amazing people. Shout out to Shannon. Shout out to Shannon Riley, just super Seriously. Amazing. I try to let Sean, do his thing, and I just kind of bug Shannon, and she's just so gracious and awesome. And just everyone over there, the whole staff is just really, really cool. And just always amazing. Shout out to my man Tom with the Instagram beard. Like his beard game is on point. So,
it's like
it's perfect. It's always perfect. Shout out to Tom, the whole crew at Pontoon, man.
That's a good question here.
What we got? Our Culture Brewing. Shout out to Our Culture. Ran into them at the opening night for Crafted for Action. What would you recommend, Sean, for other craft brewers to get more involved in their community and partnerships? Great question, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's easier for me because you can't shut me up most times. I love going and talking to new people. I was never that kid that was afraid of public speaking, but Honestly, that's why we call Brewing Conversations. We just have conversations with people, and craft beer is all about your community. And if you say anything other than that, you're in it for the wrong reason. If you support your community, your community supports you, and we saw that during COVID, where our community stood by us. So, my biggest recommendations to make sure that you're working with your community is have those conversations. Go and reach out. If there's a really cool business around you that you haven't talked to, stop by. Also, beer always works to drop off and to start a conversation. But it's more than just having that conversation. It's the execution and following up behind it. We've been talking with the Atlanta podcast and AIE, but it doesn't mean anything if we don't follow through. But what's cool is when you do those things, it's really fun. It's really fun. So, just get out there, talk to people, and find something that really means something to you and is passionate to you, and figure out a way to make your mark in the world for that particular item. And for us, it was, wanting to truly invest in our community. We want to see a more equal and a more diverse space, because why not? I mean, from a business owner, it's better for me anyway, right? But from a personal stance, I like people all across the board. So I just want to talk with people and do cool things. And so I'm so thankful to be working with AIE and, the Atlanta podcast to, gotten to know them really well. And also got to do some really cool stuff. And we got plenty of things coming up.
Nice. I just hit up our moderator, and she's going to let us go into just a little bit of overtime so we can get this next question in. You already know how we do. We ain't never shutting nothing down on time. I went to the opening night at for this conference on Monday at Atlantucky. The event time was 7:30 to 9.
Whoa.
3:30 a.m. I'm pulling up to the crib. Okay, so it can go. Shout out to everybody in the community. Yeah, we were in there, man. It was an amazing night. So I know the people tuning in are just getting a kick out of this. So, all right, my man DW Armstrong 17. Thoughts around getting the hip hop community involved. Artists seem accessible. Craft beer is cheaper to make than champagne or a cognac. Well, dude, as high gravity hip hop that I started back in 2011, 2012, I can tell you that the myth or the stereotype that black people don't like beer is kind of true. Stereotypes kind of exist for a little bit of there's some truth to it. So in terms of luxury consumption in the black community and beer, it don't jive, in my opinion, because we're not presenting it in a way that's sexy to that segment. I mean, if you want 2 Chainz to drink your beer, whether it's good beer or bad beer, and I'm gonna put this out there because no one's gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, but I mean, it needs to be in a 750 cork and cage, and it needs to cost $300. It's marketing. There's no, and the laws of marketing in the craft beer world are unique, and there's laws of marketing in the hip hop community that you either know it or you don't. So you know what I'm saying? Connecting that was always my vision, to connect those 2 worlds. And what we can do is continue to have the conversations and host the events. You've got Run the Jewels with their collaboration. Now, there have been numerous, right? There have been several. There was a project where a brewery played Wu-Tang music at the barrels. Remember that? They were just aiming the speakers at the barrels and aging them. You know what I mean? So yeah, you guys want to comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, as far as, craft beer too, I think a lot of the reason why it's not more represented in the hip hop and the black community is honestly just it's exposure, right? It's if you don't, if I see a sea of if you all see a sea of white people, and you're just like, like they're doing their own thing, but it's like it's so much more than that, and there's so much like opportunity to do really cool things, and like beer also doesn't taste like this, and this. There's a wide range of flavors, and so Pontoon does a really good job, not patting myself on our back of making sure that we do flavors that bring also. We've got a cognac barrel aged imperial stout that tastes like candy, and it's 14%. I bet you people would enjoy that. It will get you lit. It will, and it tastes great. So, it's all about putting the right things in the right people's hands. Like, Dwarmstrong 17, like put it in Quavo's hand. Quavo, right? He's with, yeah. He's
Quavo.
You put that in someone's hand and they try it and they like it. Game changer.
All right. I am getting the official wrap it up box. It said 2 minutes. Hold up. When was that? 49. All right, you got 60 seconds,
real
bro.
quick,
Wrap it up. They cut it off. They cut it off. You know what happened?
I want to mention Monday Night Brewing and Controllerize. For people that don't know what Controllerize is, they play beats, they watch anime, they play video games, and they have an event at Monday Night Garage where it's a lot of Black people. It's a lot of people who love those things there to celebrate. So I would reach out to them. So they were doing this before COVID, of course, that all shut down afterwards. But there's a group for everything. You just got to find it. That's basically how it is.
You see that cognac stout? You see that comment about the cognac stout? That's what I was talking about.
Brownie Bash. On the Brownie Bash. It'll be on.
Whatever you're doing every week, just go to Pontoon because they're killing it. All right, y'all. Hey, love you guys. Everybody, check out the project. The 404 pack is coming soon. Thank you so much, Jim Price, Atlanta Beer Boutique, Crafted for Action, Akshana. Peace out, everybody. Salute, y'all.
Thanks, everyone.